Okay. Let's move. Let's. You know what? This is rant time. This is rant time. I don't usually do this, but this is it's time. Mm. So a report came out yesterday, I believe, saying that the Wizards are likely going to retain Scott Brooks, and hmm, I think they're doing this to keep Russell Westbrook happy. How do I address this? How do I attack this with the right amount of professionalism, yet the right amount of aggression? That's what I'm struggling with right now. Because in one, I'm a fan. In one hand, I'm a fan. I'm a Wizards fan. I mean, I'm born and raised in the DMV, uh, Maryland, pretty much. Even though I've lived pretty much everywhere in Maryland and DC, but I'm a diehard Wizards fan, man. I go down with the ship. And on the other hand, you know, I guess I'm in a I don't this isn't really a journalism seat. I mean, this is a podcast seat, so I don't really know if this is considered real journalism or not, but I'm here. Okay. There's a there's a reason ineptitude lasts as long as it does. Sometimes it's because you don't know you don't know how to get out of the situation that you're in, which causes ineptitude. If the situation is poor, it causes ineptitude. There's also times when you're naive and you're just stubborn to change. I will say this: the only caveat to this is if Bradley Bill and Russell Westbrook wants him to stay. But even that, I will say, does that really matter? In fact, I have the receipts. Remember when shouts out to Mike Sykes, works for USA Today Sports. Shouts out to him. He brought something to my attention, or brought something to the attention when somebody had, hey, I think Bradley Bill and Russell Westbrook wants him to stay. He was like, yeah, you know, Steph Curry wanted Mark Jackson to stay too. That didn't work out. Now you see where Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are. But Scott Brooks, first of all, what is my problem with Scott Brooks? My problem with Scott Brooks is his adjustments. He doesn't make a lot of adjustments. He does not really care about defense, and I feel he's lost. I feel he lost the locker room, and I feel like he's a middle. I don't even think I think he's a middle of the pack to below average coach. The only thing that he's riding on is he's been to the NBA as a player. He won a championship, but as like a role player. But he's coached Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka. Now he's coached John Wall and Bradley Beal, and it's like I think you're riding off of that high, right? Okay. Since 2016, since that was the first year Scott Brooks was a coach, since then, this is his defensive rating and offensive rating. Defensive rating since 2016 up has been he's ranked 20th, 15th, 27th, 29th, and 20th this year in defensive rating. Meaning that he has not been the highest he's ever ranked, the highest the Washington Wizards has ever ranked since Scott Brooks has been a coach is 15th. And that was back in 2017. So you're probably thinking to yourself, and I thought to myself too, well, okay, offensively he's not good, but defensively, no, defensively he's not good, but offensively he has to at least crack the top 10 multiple times because your defense can't be that bad and your offense is offensively since 2016. You were ranked 8th. Since then, it was 8th, 15th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. So meaning you only cracked the top 10 in offensive rating once. And that was back in 2007 or 2016. Ever since then, you have not ranked over 15th in offensive rating, and you haven't ranked over 15th in defensive rating, and you've only ranked 15th once in defensive rating, and that was in 2017. Ineptitude is a problem, man. If you think, I don't understand. I understand this difference between a player's coach and like a stern coach, but I don't understand how you can look at what you saw since 2016 and think to yourself, he's a pretty good coach. And now, I knew it. I said it. I said it on social media. I said, yo, all this winning is going to trick the Wizards in thinking that Scott Brooks is a good coach. Not because, Russell Westbrook is a good player and Bradley Beal is a good player. Maybe the pieces are finally gelling. No, they're going to think that it's because it's a good coach. Well, last year, they were ranked 20th in defense and 17th in offense. Meaning their team was pretty evenly bad. Yet and still, Scott Brooks will be back next year. They make it tough, man. They make it. And the worst part about it is because I think the Washington has been, even though you had John Wall, Bradley Beal, Paul Pierce was there a couple of years. Trevor Ariza was there a couple of years. Because Washington has not been good in so long, every little inkling of success, even if it's small success, is huge to them. Yes, making the playoffs is cool, or making the playing and winning one game in the play-in when you had two is cool. But does it look at everything that you saw in the regular season? How many times Bradley Beal was upset? How many times Russell Westbrook took a dumbass shot in the late game or had a stupid turnover late game? Or how many times we had perfect timeout situations and the timeout wasn't called? Or how many times that you saw Scott Brooks just looking dumbfounded or look like a deer in headlights on camera on the sideline when the team's getting blown out by. I went to a playoff game where they got blown out by 30 points, bro. I don't know how you see that and think to yourself, you know what? That is our coach. Bro, one time since Scott Brooks has been here, we have been ranked higher than 10th in offensive rating. And this is with John Wall and Bradley Beal and Trevor Ariza and Paul Pierce. And Ish Smith, and all he do is offense. Yet and still, since he's been here, the defense has been nowhere. We had 20th, 15th, 27th, 29th, and 20th. And that gives you a freaking resume to stay? I'm getting hot. It's tough, man. It's tough.